the longest epic poem in the world, the Mahabharata, an ancient epic poem about an epic battle, which could rightly be seen as an internal struggle. A spiritual battle. A battle of faith. But it's told as the story of a physical battle. And the Bhagavad Gita is one of 18 books in the Mahabharata. And Arjuna is talking in this passage that we just heard. And Lord Krishna happens to be his chariot driver, because as gods are, right? He's asked Krishna to drive his chariot into the middle of the battle between the two opposing forces, the two opposing armies, and stop there. And he's throwing up his hands. He's saying, how can I enter into this battle? I know these people. These are my family. They've taught me. What am I to do? This is terrible. My friends, maybe at some time in the last few weeks or months or years, you've felt this way. How can we be in this position? These are my neighbors. These are my country people. Look at all the venom that's being spewed. How can we have come to this? How can I make peace with my neighbors? How can I affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person when my neighbor is spewing hate and asking to stop the counting? Well, these are excellent questions, and you know, these are difficult times. Maybe you were rejoicing yesterday and let out a big sigh of relief. Maybe you wanted to do that, but were still concerned and said, well, I can't celebrate too much where I am. And I'll tell you what I told some of my colleagues online. I said, I'm not going to tell my people that they have to go out and forgive their neighbors, that they have to go and make peace with them. Because I'm not going to tell people to put themselves in harm's way. That doesn't mean we give up on the inherent worth and dignity of every person, but we cannot forget that bad things have been happening. My friends, there is evil in the world. This does not mean we believe in original sin. That's not what I'm saying. We do not believe that people are inherently corrupt. But even people who are inherently good, who have inherent worth and dignity, can make very bad and dangerous choices. And there is danger in the world. Now, Bree Newsom Bass posted on Twitter about 4 days ago. I'm going to read this word for word. The close divide in USA only exists among white people. Every other racial demographic is clear in majority opposition to Trump, but white people are 70% of the US. Again, there's this constant effort to frame the narrative in ways that avoid examination of white identity politics. We know that, well, maybe about half of white people in this country are afraid of losing a power dynamic, are afraid that if they lose that control, that maybe other people will do to them what they've been doing to other people for a long time. Fear is a powerful motivator, and it can make people very dangerous. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person? What does that mean for going forward together and working together and rebuilding our nation? I've been thinking about Reconstruction. Now, I wasn't there for that. I'm not that old. But when I was younger, I used to think, oh man, those folks who just wanted to punish the South, they were so wrong. What were they thinking? How could they do that? It created so many problems. They should have done more work to reconcile. And I confess to you, I have had to deal with my own anger a lot in the last few days. It's been a roller coaster for me. Maybe you've been on a roller coaster of emotion too. What we cannot do is we cannot let our anger win. We cannot become vengeful. We cannot turn into the people that we ourselves have been afraid of. We cannot commit evil acts for the sake of vengeance. We can watch our backs. We can watch our neighbors' backs, especially I'm just going to let my clock chime out 11. There we go. Especially if we are coming from a place of privilege. We can continue to learn to be good allies. And we can watch our neighbors' backs who don't have the same level of privilege that we have. Because there is still a lot of anger. If you heard the president-elect's speech last night, you heard a vision of hope, of healing, of service to all the nation. And that's important. And we need to move together like that. But wherever you are right now, that's where you are. Whatever emotions you're feeling, they are yours, own them. That's okay. If you still have anger, own it. You can be angry. It's what you do with that anger that's important. If you have joy, oh my goodness, spread it. If you're confused, well, plenty of people are confused. That's okay. Whatever you are feeling now, you can own that feeling. That's okay. It's how we act on our feelings. But we cannot turn into what we despise. We cannot turn into vendors of hate. There is work to be done. An election is just the beginning. The pandemic is raging out of control. The president-elect has told us he will address it, but he won't be taking office until January. So protect yourselves. There are people celebrating in the street, and that's great. And there are people protesting in the streets. And if they scare you, stay away. You don't have to engage them. You are not required to be the one who turns your neighbor, but you don't have to make it worse. You don't have to make it worse. I want to read you something that a friend of mine posted on Facebook yesterday. His name is Yang Hu. And he's a PhD economist, so he's literally Dr. Who. And we worked together briefly, and we've been friends for years. He's a really smart guy. And he's an immigrant from Taiwan, and I share this with his permission. He posted this yesterday. I am an American, and this is my country. The election results today will not stop the fact that Americans will die from the coronavirus, from racism, or from economic dislocation in the next 12 months. But it's a start. If you're an immigrant like me, the America you believe in, despite all its ugliness shown bare in the last 4 years, all the racism, the cronyism, the ignorance, and willful self-delusion, is the America that redeems itself, if ever in small bits and pieces. It is this redemptive America that has the courage to acknowledge its past wrongs and to do something about it, to tell the children whose ancestors it enslaved and terrorized that America did them wrong, and that they, with the full rights and privileges as American citizens, will steer America from these wrongs, that as a country we shall never visit these same iniquities on anyone else ever again. It is this same redemptive America which once said that someone who looks like me cannot legally be an American citizen, can aspire to the highest offices in the land, one of whom will be residing in the DC Naval Observatory 3 months from now. It is these acts of redemptions that give me hope. It is also my own personal experience of all the opportunities and ladders given to me in my life so that I may pull myself up, that I am absolutely grateful for. This is why I will never pull up these ladders behind me and deny these same opportunities to the people who need these ladders the same way I did. Those before me gave me agency and voice as an American, and it is only right and proper that I do the same for those who come after me. Congratulations, Kamala Harris, Vice President-elect of the United States of America. My friends, feel how you feel. If there's someone you need to fear, watch your back, be careful. But do not create more obstacles. Let us not pull up any ladders for anybody. Let us keep them in place and put more ladders out. Let us create opportunity. This is how we heal the world. This is how we show that we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. This is how we live out our faith in the world. This is how we build the beloved community. Forgiveness, in the long run, it's good for our own hearts. It's a lot to carry around. Anger, that does stuff to us within. Do that in the time that you are ready to do it. But more important is that we show our love for all of humanity and for all of creation by doing the work in the world. That is how we defeat the evil in the world. We don't let it grab a foothold. Let us go out and build the beloved community together. Let us awaken our spirits. Let us connect in kindness, and let us help to heal the world. Can I get an amen? You can put that in the chat. Namaste.